Welcome everyone to Rabbit Rock Music, and today we have another Chipmunk video. What are the odds that the day I publish a Chipmunk video about Nibbles that I also rescue another Chipmunk? But here we have a very young little Townsend Chipmunk. I'm pretty sure that he's a male, but I didn't do a super thorough check when I was giving him a bath. He's doing so much better today and actually just being a totally normal little chipmunk. And Nibbles has been very interested in his new little neighbor. I did give him a bath yesterday, and amazingly, I didn't find any ticks or even a flea, which was actually quite surprising. A wet chipmunk is so much easier to locate injuries on than a dry one. Because of the fur, it usually hides a lot of the injuries. Plus, since it's over 90 degrees today, it's going to dry super fast. Also, bathing a chipmunk by hand builds a little bit of trust. Stress bonding, I think is what they call it. It learns for the first time that this human didn't hurt me and put me back into an environment where I have my food and water and I was safe. And I think that's a pretty important first step and kind of helps the little guy not be so stressed out when the humans are around. This little guy also has never tried to bite. He's just a really non-aggressive, curious little chipmunk. I was going to move him to one of the bigger, larger enclosures like Nibbles has, but I have decided not to do that. Because I want to accomplish three things in this little rescue, and doing that kind of compromise it. Number one, since he has no physical injuries, it really is best for him to be returned to the wild. And number two, I want him to put on a little bit more weight before he heads back out into nature. In the smaller cage, all he does is eat and sleep and conserve his calories. And for about 3 days, this is going to be really good for him. He is still so young, this won't be any problem for his digestive system either. Especially since he has the fresh fruit and plenty of water to keep all the stuff moving through his system. Gut stasis is what will pretty much kill all little wild chipmunks or bunnies once you put them in captivity. Usually pretty quickly, within 24 to 48 hours. With chipmunks, there is a very good way to tell if you're going to be heading into a gut stasis situation that I have learned. A happy chipmunk is a healthy chipmunk, meaning if it's eating, drinking, not making its distress calls, has that curious cattail movement while it's investigating its environment and hunting around for little nuts and things you put in its cage, and also not running around the cage like a madman or biting at the cage trying to get out. Because once a chipmunk has it in its mind that it's not happy and it wants out, that's basically its life goal from then on, is to find a way out of that cage, and it pretty much will just kind of self-destruct. So what you see here is actually pretty rare. This is normally pretty much just a race against the clock, but this little guy, he's just totally fine. So he just bought himself a 3-night mini vacation. I believe this is in part because Nibbles is right next door to him, and Nibbles is acting totally fine, and he's not having distress or emitting distress calls or anything, and also just kind of being curious. I think that plays a large part, like it does when I get wild bunnies. Just having those other animals around that are just being fine and normal really helps just bring this whole stress level down for them. And the third reason is I don't really want him to make a permanent nest and call this home. Otherwise, when I release him, he's going to really want to just find his way back here, like Nibbles did. And if I put him up in the penthouse suite, I'm pretty sure that he's not going to want to leave. As much as I would like to keep him, because I know he would be safe and live for many years here, and I just want to, save all the little animals. But chipmunks are kind of rare around here ever since the Beachy Creek fire, which pretty much just wiped out the squirrels, the chipmunks, the little rabbits, most of the deer, just about everything. So he really needs to go back out there and find a little cute lady chipmunk. So the best place for him to be released is on the far side of our property where the 3 ponds are. There's lots of green fir trees and pine trees, maple trees, blackberries. There's hazelnut trees and plenty of water. And all the trees are relatively close, so they really provide a really good cover that the Cooper's hawks don't really get into. They can't see him from the air. So that's where he'll probably be released on maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. And one last thing. In some previous posts last year, I was asked, what do you feed a chipmunk, a wild chipmunk? The first thing that comes to people's minds is usually peanuts, but I have found that although they like peanuts, they actually like other things a lot more. And they need a wide variety to stay healthy, especially long term. So I feed my little chippers blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, cherries, and apples, usually for the fruits. I freeze pretty much all of these all summer long that are right out of our garden and our orchard trees. So we usually have so much they last well into the next growing season. The rabbits get these fruits too. I just don't trust the stuff from the store with the wild animals. They're a lot more susceptible to things like pesticides and herbicides, and I don't use anything in my garden at all except for rabbit poop. So that's pretty much it. I also give them raw in-shell hazelnuts, walnuts, almonds, and I do give them peanuts in the shell. And sunflower seeds also from our garden, which we usually just have tons and tons of. Plus, a backyard mixture of seeds and grains, and also uncooked corn on the cob. They love uncooked corn on the cob. And actually, the wild rabbits pretty much all love uncooked corn on the cob. If you just get some fresh corn and wash it off real good and break it in half, and they don't really eat the husk very much, but boy, they sure do love that corn. Chipmunks also like to eat the roots of sprouting green vegetables. So that's another reason I like to keep several containers of live growing plants in the enclosure for nibbles at all times. He really likes to dig down in the dirt, bury nuts down there, eat up some of the roots sometimes. So you just kind of have to just keep planting stuff and keeping it moist, and it just keeps growing. And as a treat, a couple of times a week, I like to give them a little handful of raw pine nuts. They're pretty expensive because pine nuts, I guess, have to be harvested by hand only. But they just absolutely love the pine nuts more than pretty much anything else. So those are probably one of the best things you could probably give them. Very nutritious too, and it's what they naturally get out here anyway. And since chipmunks are omnivores, I also give them dried mealworms. However, they don't really eat these all that much, but they're in there anyway for them if they want them. They really prefer just to eat all the other stuff. As a side note, it is also best to give them water from a bowl. They like to drink naturally and not from a bottle. Pretty much the same as the rabbits that way. They don't really like to drink out of a straw, basically. Well, I think that's about enough of me talking, so I'll just finish out this video with the music there in the background and the chipmunk. Thank you very much for watching.